Hello, welcome. I'd like to bring our meeting to order, and the first piece of business is the Hope students are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise and remove your hats.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, students. I'll hear a motion to approve agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as published.
I second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that motion passes. So we are going to move right on to our presentation from the Hope Elementary students. Welcome. We're very intrigued.
I am Sherry Hatley. I'm the principal of Hope Elementary School. And tonight we have presenting Mrs. Spencer with her robotics crew. We have Jackson Cometto and Soren Woodmansee, Meredith Rayner, Gabe Allen, and Alex Scarlett, and Kelsey Noble.
So our robotics program was generously supported by Panhandle Alliance for Education. We focus on problem solving rooted in STEM. Grant 1 was issued in 2020, and it was to start up the programs with grades 4 through 6. Then Grant 2 was awarded in 2022. That was to purchase expansion teacher materials and K-3 robots. And then Grant 3 we just were rewarded last year, 2024. And the idea is to extend the programs to 2nd and 3rd grade by utilizing the 6th grade leaders to go into the classrooms now to start teaching the programs that they are so experts with.
Your presenters here tonight are 4 6th graders and 2 5th graders. The extended part of the 6th grade leaders, here we have some 6th grade leaders who are working with 3rd graders at this point in time, and they're teaching them how to utilize the colored tabs and to get these little cars to move along. And so if we could have the video play. They're so excited.
They're so excited.
Yeah. What can I ask? What was that doing? What was the purpose of that? What were the?
Does it see the colors? Or does it stop?
Yeah, so there's a sensor under the car that reads the color codes as programming blocks for the students. So each card will make the car do something different. This was exploration stage, so they were trying to see what the different color cards were going to make it do.
Cool. I'm so jealous. I want to go to Hope Elementary.
Yeah.
So we asked some of our 3rd graders what they thought about the robotics, and as you can see, fun is a theme all the way throughout. Fun with capital letters and extra exclamation points on that. And also, I love this quote because it was really fun, and the people that taught us were really nice. The people that taught them were their 6th graders. And sometimes people don't think that 6th graders are really people. And so it's nice that our 3rd graders think that. Well, we asked them what they learned, and they said that they learned that the color pads make the bots move, and that it was really cool. It makes them go fast, and that they learned that the robots are controlled by the color pads. So I asked for a quote from a couple of our leaders, and they wanted to work together and collaborate on their statement, and this is what they wrote. The extension of the robotics program is a great opportunity for the 2nd and 3rd graders to experience robotics and understand how we work together. We are looking forward to many more 2nd and 3rd graders to come.
All right, so during our planning and building, we worked on this for 6 weeks, getting ready for you guys. And we went through the whole engineering process of designing, build, rebuild, redesign. And so I just snapped a few photos as we worked through this whole process because you guys are going to see very little of the actual production, but there was a lot behind the scenes. All right, so today we're going to be presenting to you the story of the Three Little Pigs, presented by the Hope Wildcats robotic crew. The narrator is Mackenzie Noble. She'll refresh you in case you can't remember the story. Straw Pig programmer was Alex Scarlett. Our Stick Pig programmer was Gabe Allen. Our Brick Pig programmer was Meredith Rayner. And our Big Bad Wolf is played by Soren Woodmansee. And our builders creating this town and helping us go were Jackson Cometto and Mackenzie Noble.
I will now read you a portion of the familiar tales so you can all remember the details. See my house, it is a little house, it is blue. Little pig, I want to come in. You cannot come in. I can puff the house down, puff, puff, puff. Here is my house, it's a funny little house. Little pig, I want to come in. You cannot come in. See me puff, 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 I can puff the house down. Look here, my house is a big one, it is brown. Little pig, I want to come in. Go away, you cannot come in. See me puff, I can puff the house down. See here, my house is not down. Now you will see the robots perform this story.
You got it. Good job. Okay, so as you saw, and as of course as my students know, the first run didn't go as well as we hoped because there were some new variables entered bringing it to this classroom, right? Our carpet was very, very different. We had a few things we need to make adjustments to. 1 minute, guys, go. They took notes, they know what they need to fix, they're gonna fix it for you, and we're gonna run. Good, you guys. Get it fixed quickly. Make those adjustments. Good. You guys are doing great. Good job, team. Good. You got it, Soren? You got your fix?
The pig crew at a car race.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like a fast car. So again, this is our problem solving in action. These students have been working on this for so long. They know what adjustments needed to be made based on what the pigs did performance-wise. We're not changing the programming. The programming is perfect. Our mistakes were made out here in the field. All right, ready guys?
Yes.
Everybody aim.
No, it's not working. Let's go.
Meredith?
Mine's not working.
Uh-oh.
I took the wrong Chromebook.
No, but we're gonna watch this.
Looks like mine. Oh my.
You're aiming the wrong pig.
No.
She switched Chromebooks with her partner.
Now it's working.
That's one of the things we teach them too. They always want to blame the robot. It's never the robot, it's always us. Good.
Well, the tape's messed up.
good
Yeah, the tape keeps going all the way around.
Okay.
I guess I can change
Here.
it.
It's fixed. I'm just gonna do this. How's that? Okay, go.
Yay.
Alex, you ready?
Please take the tape off. Oh,
That was more than a minute, guys. Let's go. That was a minute 30.
Hello.
Okay, Alex, ready?
Guys, ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, yeah. She's stuck. Yes, this carpet is definitely presenting some challenges. Oh, yeah. There you go, Wolf. Good adjustments. Okay, stick pig, looking good.
Oh, the tape.
Oh, stick pig. There you go. Good. All right, brick pig. Easy peasy. The wolf, you're gonna eat 2 pigs there. All right, if you'll switch to the next slide. I did want you guys to see what they spent 6 weeks building. Here's a video of a perfect run.
Just hit the floor, that's fine.
Yeah. So they can make it do a perfect run. We just had some new variables that they don't have time to adjust for.
That's really cool.
So we would like to thank you very much for allowing us to have this presentation tonight. I know that our students had a lot of fun preparing for you, and the excitement is palpable. One, do you have any questions? And then two, after your questions, we have a couple programmers that would just like to show you quickly the coding that they did on their Chromebooks.
I think one of the most exciting things for me is not only seeing what you guys can do, but how excited you are about sharing all of this with younger kids. And that kind of collaboration is really, really impressive.
It's okay, you send it.
Trustee Williams will be out at Hope 21.
Yes.
I took robotics in high school and it wasn't that cool. It was 20 years ago.
Okay, so you want to show us some of your...
Yeah, we'll show them some of your programs.
Show us what the programming looks like.
And you should talk about Drive.
He doesn't get two. I get two.
So her
So, you can adjust these depending on what program.
Yes, you do.
So you use the timer.
Oh, the break. That was a So how long have you been working with this robotic stuff? No, did you do it last year or is it since?
So you can play that and adjust it.
Was your name one of the ones that was helping them?
Is it for my I know, I have to record that perfect run. So we only have two perfect runs. So maybe you guys can go on and because it's not.
Thank you so much. I think our superintendent has something.
Set your Chromebooks right there under my cart, you guys. I will take everything back to school.
I know you said you didn't like brownies, so I got you some huckleberries too. So you guys can share these. Those are
Tomorrow morning.
Those are a thank you from the board and I. Those are from the pantry. So thank you for presenting. You guys were awesome.
Yes,
Thank you.
I did have one question. Can I ask? Yes. Where are the fourth graders in all this?
There's not fourth, only fifth and sixth.
Yeah, there were no fourth graders chosen for the team because they would have been working on those Indy cars last year as third graders, and then this would have been their first year with Bolt, and I couldn't get them ready in 6 weeks.
Gotcha.
So
but
fifth
there
and
are-
sixth.
There are fourth graders in the program?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
And second and third grade.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Okay.
And then you guys are going ahead and excused. You guys can go ahead and head out. Yes, you guys did great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, if families need to leave, we understand. If you feel like staying for everything else, you may.
They're like, you. Yeah, it's super fun.
Thanks, guys.
This rolls like a suitcase. If you want to roll that out of here, I'm going to grab my stack of
Do you have, no, I was looking at where they were sitting. They're in the bag.
You want me to grab your water bottle? Okay.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you. Thanks, Cody. That was awesome.
Great evening.
Thank you. Drive safe.
So we will move on in the agenda. We have a full data report from our teaching and learning directors, Amber Murray and Casey McLaughlin. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know.
Like a regular guy.
Well, good evening. We're here just to check in quickly on the board's priorities. First, starting with reading data. As you know, our students take the Idaho Reading Indicator, or IRI, every September across kindergarten through third grade. And we want to show you just a couple celebrations. We intentionally highlighted this to sort of follow some cohorts. So looking at last fall, where our kindergarten students came in. Of course, those are this year's first graders in general. We know we have new students moving in and moving out, but that cohort, that one looks relatively flat within a percentage of where we were last year. However, if you track these first graders, who are now our second graders, we're coming in considerably higher this fall than last, so there's a celebration. And also really excited about those second graders, now our third grade cohort, and just where we're starting off this school year. So it's showing us that all the work that we're putting in, we think is yielding gains. We're really excited to come back in winter. You know, we all take that again in January. And then the state assessment is May, so we can track growth over time. So quick celebration about our September IRI data.
What are the spring 24?
That shows you last spring where we left. You know, we always have some summer slide, but that shows you end of year last year. And then we're starting out fall. We'll show you again winter. We come back in winter, but then the state will test again this spring.
What are the goals for spring of 25?
We're meeting with each building. We started that this week. They all sort of follow their cohorts and show multiple data sources, but we always try to be 75% or higher as a district when aggregated all together. So we almost hit that at every grade last year, and we're aiming for that this year. I think Dr. Meyer's lofty goal was actually 80%. So
that was the board's goal.
we are stretching to get there, but positive news to show where we're starting this year as compared to a year ago.
You do remember that rigor gets tougher, right? It went from, so in spring, those were second grade standards, now they're third grade standards. So like it's not just summer slide.
Oh, yeah. Tougher as you increase.
Right. Those
Correct.
kids are testing out of kindergarten and then moving in and testing in first grade, so it is different.
So the testing is more rigorous.
Yeah.
Computer-based sub-tests change by grade level and even within the year as they gate out of one and take another. So
Yeah.
okay.
I was going to ask that. That makes sense. Thank you for explaining.
I can read your thing, Paul.
Yeah, I was like, how is there so much of it from spring to fall? What can we do over the summer?
Yeah.
But that makes sense.
Yeah, correct. So exciting news on IRI.
So the next is our one trusted adult, which of course we've talked about quite a bit, and this is a very important metric for us. And if you look at it, I think this is fantastic news where you look at where we were and where we're starting now. In the district, right, when we set this goal and we really set out to do this, we were at 84% of our students last year in the fall could identify and did identify one trusted adult within the school. Right, then you fast forward to the end of the year, and we really, through our initiatives, really raised that up. 97% by the end of the year could recognize one trusted adult. This year, of course, we have new students. We've got students coming in new to each school, and that transition is a pretty big transition from middle school to high school, from elementary to middle, and so on, and just coming into school. And we started this year, which is great news. We started this year at 91.57%, which is fairly what we expected having this initiative, right? And then new students. We did expect to be a little bit higher with students coming in. And then, of course, to be determined for our spring data. But it's exciting to get to the spot where we know that those initiatives are working, and that we know that students can identify somebody within the school pretty readily. And at 91%, that's a great start.
That's good.
So, that's good.
Good.
And then our next, our graduation rate, and this is one of those big things, especially for secondary schools, which I work with. We always are talking about, we need students to graduate, right? That is a big deal, and that is a culmination of everything everyone has done from K all the way through 12. And so it's not just about secondary schools. And so this is kind of one of those culminating metrics that we like to look at as a district. And if you look where we were in 22-23, this is fantastic, actually. If you look at Sandpoint High School, we were at 89.8% of students who graduated in 22-23, and last year was 98%. And that is estimated. Sorry, I
estimated twice.
Estimated twice. They twice estimated. But it is estimated because the state goes through and finds students who have moved and different things, and so that number is up a little bit different. It's kind of like ISATs, where you get this preliminary number and then they work with the data and figure out what school kids moved and went where, and then all of a sudden the number changes a little bit. So just a heads up there. And then so our goal is to raise that to 99%, which we would love to see that. Lake Ponderay High School was at 54.8% in 22-23, which did not meet our desired threshold, even close. And the last year was at 80.64%, which I think is is pretty solid and pretty strong. And of course, looking to go up 5% there to around 85%. And then Clark Fork High School went from 83 to 100, and can't really do better than 100%. And so that is again estimated, and we hope that we're pretty sure, because Clark Fork's a small school, we can track those students pretty easily.
Great.
And I just want to point out there are a lot of factors that go into graduation rate. For example, if a student decides to get their GED, that student counts as a dropout for us. And so there's a lot of factors that come into play in this. Yeah, we're excited about these numbers and where we're starting this year.
Well, and I would think with LPO, I mean, if you have a student that stays for a 5th year,
Yes.
the impact to your, with only 20-some students, it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
And if a student is not, right, and they often receive students from all over who are not on track to make it through that 4-year cohort. And so that's a win for the student. To stay and graduate in 5 years is really a win, even though for LPO that doesn't play out to be a win there in the books. So.
Yeah, it's good to know what the numbers mean.
Yeah, and we always have to keep that in mind. What is the best thing for students? And sometimes the number doesn't represent that, but we're pretty excited about what the number is telling us.
Definitely.
That's really good.
Yeah,
Okay.
great improvement.
Will you have, is there some point where you'll have an actual grad rate? How long does that take?
Well, that's a great question. I don't have the exact date, and I never
The window's
know.
coming up for appeals. We can't have an actual until you go through the appeals process, and then that number will be.
And then they sort through those appeals and then give us.
Okay.
Will give us that. We'll let you know. when we
Yeah,
get
for
that.
sure.
Yeah. So it's kind of like the ISATs. We never exactly know until we know, and then all of a sudden we say it's.
Oh, look, it was only estimated once now.
Yeah. Hey. Look at that.
Magic.
It's a miracle. It's a Kelly miracle.
That was just a vision of your imagination.
Most of the time.
We're really excited about estimating around here. So I would say it's
Okay, we just want to say thank you for keeping those strategic priorities in front of us, and to all the staff in this room, leaders and staff who contribute to that. So thank you so much.
Thank you both. So we are moving into a human resource update, and Retta Short, our HR director, is here. Hello.
Hi, Florida.
So I'm here to provide some information about our teacher apprenticeship program that we started into this year, being our pilot year. Last fall, we joined a learning group with the Office of the Idaho State Board of Education to explore all of the ways that the registered teacher apprenticeship program could benefit Idaho schools. This included thorough discussions and quality checks along the way, like how an apprentice would be evaluated and how we would track and record learning growth throughout the 3-year program. In February, we began the application process. 5 districts completed the application process. Those that were selected were announced in June. Most were in extremely remote communities in southern Idaho, and then 1 in North Idaho, the Conway School District. So we are the first in North Idaho.
That's great.
This is a 3-year competency-based program, and it will be our pilot year. So the Registered Teacher Apprenticeship Program combines on-the-job learning with related technical instruction in an earn and learn model, and this is a program that is employer-driven. Now that we have completed the application process, we will be focusing on quality staff, one of our goals for our strategic plan. We were able to recruit with the goal of retaining quality staff. Apprenticeships are an industry learning model that is approved and validated by the U.S. Department of Labor, and Idaho is addressing the nationwide teacher shortage by allowing districts an avenue to recruit quality staff by learning in an earn-to-learn on-the-job model. As we walk through this pilot year with the state and federal guidelines that come with this grant, we will evaluate the growth and progress with the same tool used for the teachers, the Danielson's IPLP method. To be successful, the employee must be dedicated with the ability to learn and show growth while on the job, working with a team of educators and mentors, excelling and learning through the rigorous 3-year program. The teacher will be enrolled in a teacher apprenticeship program through an Idaho Work Study Program university. We have elected to work with LCSC, CSI, which is the College of Southern Idaho, BYU, and NNU, Northwest Nazarene, The apprentice has the flexibility to review and choose which university that they work with. Monica Ringer was selected, on the last slide. Monica Ringer was selected as a registered teacher apprentice at Sago Elementary. Monica comes to us with years of experience as an SEC, that's a Services for Exceptional Children, paraprofessional. She was at Sandpoint Middle School. And she is full of energy and lots of enthusiasm for this year.
It looks so cool.
Super excited.
She will bring some entertainment to the table, I can tell you that.
Yeah. Every time I talk to her, she's super excited.
That's so great.
That's our program.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's great. Other questions?
No, I think it's great.
Yes,
It's so
thank
cool.
you.
Yeah,
It would be
let's go.
great to have an update as it
Yeah.
goes through completion.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Loretta.
Thank you.
I can just speak to that. I'm the principal at Sago, and Monica has come in, and she is, to your point, I mean, she's a breath of fresh air. She is so enthusiastic. She and our other 6th grade teacher make like the most amazing team. They're so collaborative, and my other teacher's been, you know, in the building for a year, but has 3 years of experience prior, and she's learning from our apprentice. We don't call her that, by the way. She's like, that makes me seem so weird. Like, apprentice, like, we need a hat, or, but yeah, we've been really excited to have her. You would not guess that she doesn't have, you know, a ton of teaching experience.
Yeah, that's
She's
great.
soaking it all up.
Thank you. So we have our finance update from our CFO, Brian Wallace. Hello.
Board Chair Lewis, welcome. Members of the board, Dr. Myers. So I'll quickly go through the finance report for this month. And of course, it's for September. We're always a month behind. On the revenue side, we really don't receive a lot of money incoming to the general fund. In August, we get that big payment from the state. On the expenditure side, though, this really is showing us our first full month of payroll with all the teachers back to give us how are we tracking the budget. And so that 2.4 million relative to the budget of the 28 million is right at 8.3%, which is actually right where we want to be, 1/12 every month. So that's good. That varies a little bit every month, but if we track like that, then we budgeted right as far as our expenditure. The benefits you can see are a little 1.2, that 12% for the month is high. That's because in September we paid our workers' comp premium, which is $250,000, so we pay that up front. So if you back that out minus 1/12 of it, we're actually a little below the 8.3%. So I think for salaries it's tight, but at least that first month was a good. That's when I'm nervous. Like if we suddenly came in like a 0.5%, you're off $2 million. I mean, it's a big deal, right? So we want to be there. So that was good. That looks like our staffing, actual staff that showed up are similar to the cost we thought was going to happen. Next slide, just of course, is just a couple of the charts. You can see salaries and benefits that with that first month is starting to ramp up for the year. The green will grow as we move along. Of course, some of the items like our capital items, we spent about half of what we budgeted. Some of that was like the high school track bills came in, so those were paid. And of course, our insurance is almost done for the year. That's our liability insurance. The revenue side, you can see the big state payment. And then we just started getting a little bit of dollars for our supplemental levy and some other small grants from the state, but those will come up. Enrollment is good news. We're right there, that 3801. Previous month, we're about the same where we were in September, but that's higher than last year, so that's good. So that should be good for a projection for our revenue side as far as the units we'll earn from attendance. And then a couple items of note. One, I want to talk about that Superintendent Critchfield did actually submit her budget request. It's sort of funny, we're wrapping up last year with the audit right now.
Right.
Talking about this year a little bit with our first big payroll, but they're starting next year's budget. And so the general request was an increase of 2.65%. So from previous years, that's actually a pretty modest proposal. The big change was to shift some of the way we're funded to a weighted per student funding. So we get money in this discretionary pot, but the safe and drug-free schools, those with the square bullets, those would be eliminated as line items and sort of rolled into this pot. So the 57 million, 24 of it is new, but 33 is from those other programs going into it. And that would be our decision how we spend those dollars. There is a proposal to update the student transportation funding model. We'll see where that goes. And then the other thing that the state did this year, though, is that they did overall, and they project us like we say, well, we think we're going to have X amount of students and it's going to give us 187 units. They take a look and say, well, how many units are going to be statewide? And they budgeted 200 less from what was budgeted last year because we've had some drop in attendance and enrollment. And so that's like a 1.25% reduction, which generally, previously it was always, they always went up 1%. And so it's really like a 2% drop because they didn't do the raise at all. So anyway, that was her budget request. Of course, the governor puts that budget request, the legislature works on it, and then who knows what happens. We'll find out in March. The next, this is good news. So I had some specific information on House Bill 521, that's the bond. So school districts with plans submitted by 5 p.m. Mountain Time on October 10th, which we've already submitted. We were one of the early districts that got it in. We'll get 80% sometime by late October. So 80% of the 15 million that is what we're allocated. So by the end of next month, we should have 12.1 million in the bank.
Yeah.
So, and those dollars, we're going to hold those in the investment pool in their own account. And so the interest will earn to those accounts so that, you know, as interest earns, that can go for further projects. And then, of course, when the expenses for those projects come up, then we'll move the dollars and write the checks. And then the other 20% will, a second bond issuance will be made in February, so we'll have the whole 15 sometime February, which is, that's good news to have those details. And that is all I have. I'm available for any questions.
I don't have any questions. Are there any questions? That's, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great report. Thank you. So we are moving on to our superintendent report. Dr. Becky Meyer.
Okay, well,
Thank
first, our district leadership team would like to wish happy birthday to Trustee Lonnie Williams. His birthday is on Thursday.
Well, thank you very much.
Nice. I told him everything. And
Thank you.
One of the students didn't like brownies, I found out this morning, so I said, okay, I bought 2 Huckleberry things so that one, Lonnie gets to pick which Huckleberry thing he wants. So that's how that worked. All right, so we're into October. Thank you for letting me present. Reminding everyone that our theme this year is really to focus on our one thing that we want to do. What is the one thing that everybody in the district can focus on to really help us move the needle with students? Looking at our strategic plan, should you ever forget, it's also on the wall behind you. Just a quick, in the first bucket, we have facilities, which Brian just talked about, and we also talk about the safety in the district. So a quick little update for you. This is very positive news, and I would really like to thank Dr. Joy Jansen, Christina Gavin, the nurse, and our district safety task force member, Alan Brinkmeyer, also the head coach of the soccer team at Sandpoint High School, as well as the EMS deputy chief for the Bonner County EMS. So he sits on our district safety task force, and they thought it was a high priority to have an AED at every school. They just finished last week.
Wow.
So Hope Elementary, I was there this morning. This is the outside, it's outside the front door. Yeah. You can see it's Hope there, how beautiful it is. And then this is what it looks like up front. So you can see every single school has at least one now, so that's a pretty big feather in our cap for our district. And thank you to Joy for helping facilitate that to fruition.
Yeah, quick question, what is B92?
Project 92 is the weight room.
Oh.
Project 92 it's called.
Right next to Coalfield, that breakthrough.
Yep.
Thank you.
And the next in our bucket we're going to look at is quality staff. And in there, you know that it talks about we're going to provide robust and relevant PD, which just happened last week on Thursday and Friday. A huge shout out to Casey and Andra, the directors that just presented. They, bless you, they met with the person and planned the entire 2 days on their own with the presenter, Dr. Tisha Thomas, but they spent months preparing to make sure that it was meaningful for our staff. So over here you can see Tisha Thomas. Dr. Tisha Thomas was the presenter on PLCs, and she's discussing the Hattie, which I'm really partial to over here. And then here is some K through 8 and Clark Fork and LPO were here. And in the morning there was a keynote, and you can see that she had projectors here and stuff. So it was a wonderful 2 days. This is looking at also in the afternoon on Thursday. So the staff started in the morning, and then the afternoon they went and followed through with information they learned. And then on Friday, taking the data, looking with their grade level teams and content, and how are they going to use the data to inform instruction. And I like to say move the needle, so showing growth for our students.
I like that the lunch buffet made it into.
Yes, that I told Kelly.
Thank you. To our clerk.
Yes, Kelly really wanted to make sure that we had
It's pretty.
It looks good.
I was most glad to see that the new floor was covered with all that stuff on there.
Right.
Yes.
That in the new gym. And then notice that Casey, Mr. McLaughlin, was presenting for one of the days. So I wanted to make sure and show you that he was one of the presenters with Lisa McElroy on that day. And also Sandpoint High School, they actually did a flip. So they did some independent work in the morning on their IPLPs, and then they shifted at Sandpoint High School, and they had Dr. Tisha Thomas on Thursday all to themselves. So that's how the format was. But it was a wonderful 2 days, lots of rich and robust discussion. The next bucket we'll look at is the community connection, and just wanted you to see the September loop. We have real, these are Sagal students, but we have real students that Darren has put. He was standing here, I don't know where he went, but he put real students in there. And then I did a piece about the one thing and focusing on the one thing. I did use you guys in there. I didn't say what you said, but I said that the board also did that as well.
Yeah.
So that's our community connection piece, as well as the community coffee clutch is coming. So the first one of the year will be coming up in November. So Darren's going to maybe do something a little different, so I'm not going to tell you anything yet. He's got some ideas about that. Whoops, back one. Oh my goodness, Beth, I'm going the wrong way. Sorry.
You're all over.
I got ahead of myself. Sorry if I made you dizzy. Another community connection is a thank you to Rotary. So we have a $100,000 check from the Chafe 150 ride.
Wow.
And it actually is going straight to Book Trust. And you can see here that this is the actual check. No, that's the amount of check. And these, Sherry Hatley has collected these reading along here. There are a lot of Little Hope students here. She could not be here to help accept the check this day because it was the first week of school. So Andrea and I said we would collect it on her behalf. And thank you, that is Sherry sitting there on that little box. Thank you to the Rotary for so much work, and their subcommittee for the Chafe, all of the sponsors, the writers, everybody, the volunteers, everybody, private donors. And I do want to give a special shout out to Sherry Hatley. She wrote the initial grant when I wasn't even here yet, and has spent the last 3 years with the Book Trust really coordinating the volunteers, the stations, the yak with some bacon something or other. Bacon station.
Oh yeah, very popular.
Yes. And my husband and I are now in charge of the herons, so she's hornswoggled us, and we just did our second year at the Heron Rest Stop. So
Nice.
it's very big, huge shout out if we could all get.
Is that Sherry?
Yeah, that's Sherry. That's her right there. So thank you to Sherry for that. So, talking about the one thing, the center of all we do is student learning, reminding you that October is Dyslexia Awareness Month, This you probably saw, hopefully the middle picture you saw downstairs when you came in for the board meeting. Lisa McElroy, our literacy lead, put that together, and you can see other buildings are also showing. You can see the myths, things you should probably want to check out before you leave tonight, and really aligning with our mission in the district. Every student, every day is every student graduates a reader. It's very specific. She worked with our mentee group this week, and it's very insightful, and they learn a lot, and it's something the board should be very proud of the work we're doing in our district. My gosh, this thing is on steroids tonight. I do want to also thank the board because we have all of our library materials review committee. We're going to be meeting on October 22nd. And thank you to Kelly for calling and getting that. She got all the dates set up. So we're going to be just having it. We don't have any people turned in, any concerns, but we are going to have an introductory meeting. I shared the board policies and the protocol that the board approved. So we're going to meet and just review, talk, they get to know each other, and each trustee has one appointed, and then I'll have a rotating library lead as the board approved.
Nice.
That's coming up on October 22nd. And just reminding everyone, we're going to focus. This is the board's 3 focus goals. Thank you to Andrew and Casey for touching on those for our fall. Any questions?
Trustees, any questions?
All right.
Nope.
Negative.
Very thorough. Thank you very much, Dr. Meyer. And let's move on.
Snow
Is there
is
any
cake, I think. It's
So
She's
there's
getting hungry.
There's no one signed up for public comment, so we're going to move on to a look at the ISBA proposed resolutions. I thought Tanya was the only one not attending. Correct. So you've had a chance to look at them. However, I don't need your votes because I'm looking at 3 others who will be there at the convention. So we'll be there to hear the presentations on each of these in person. But if you do look at them in advance or have any questions about them, feel free to ask somebody who might know.
Okay.
But Tanya will give us her vote before we go down. Okay, that's all I have on that one. We have a first reading of policy 2335, the health enhancement education. Not that there's these descriptors. Sorry, I'm having to get there in my. So you saw that this is based on this Bill 1308 and House Bill 666 signed in this year. Did anybody have any questions?
So as a anticipatory set, to let you know, I did read through the laws several times. I cut back quite a bit the recommended proposal policy from ISBA. I felt like it had some things in it that did not pertain to the culture and climate in our area. Sure. And I added this first sentence here, the legislature's intent of the law. And so I added that in there. In the highlighted part that's up here, the board directs that instruction in sex education shall include information on abstinence. That actually says in the law that the board, who are the hired, elected constituents, will decide whether abstinence is included or not. I am going to recommend that we include it in there, but the board may certainly discuss this, and it's just the first read, but you certainly may discuss it and give me feedback if you want me to take that out. My recommendation is to keep it in, but that's up to the board. And then the other pieces in here about adoption and current adoption, that's from the law. The safe haven is from the law, and the grade level standards, all of that is directly required by law.
Yep. Did anyone have questions on reading this? It's new, it's based on...
I did have one kind of question, clarification. I know maybe a year ago we discussed sex education classes as an opt-in for the younger grades and not an opt-out. Is that correct? Do we... For the growth and development?
Like that.
No, they send home parent, for the parent law, they send home, this is what we're going to cover, and then parents can say whether they want their kids to opt in or opt out.
So is my question, I guess, is every student in until the parent says they're out?
Yes.
Or every student out until the parent says they're.
Every student is in unless the parents say they want them out.
And is that by law? Because I think it said that in here, to do it that way. But I thought, I guess that was my question, clarification. I thought we discussed somewhere along the way.
It says that any parent and legal guardian, straight from the law, may have their child excused from any planned. And again, remember this year with the new parent law, that we as a board, we've asked all of the teachers to send home before every unit, they're sending home parent notification. So the parents will be getting notification of what's coming up in the curriculum in that next unit, which would include this sex education into the health for growth and development.
I will add one comment about the opt-in or opt-out. There are some students who don't have the benefit of involved parents. And if your policy always left students out until a parent activated on their behalf, you would have some kids being left out of programs just by the absence of a parent. So I am in favor of the opt-out. If you're a parent who is involved in your child's life, opt out or opt in, but to have the child at least included if there's going to be no communication from a parent is, I think, pretty important. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Are there any other questions or nuances or changes that you want to see on this bill? I mean, this policy.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to leave the abstinence part in.
Yeah, I like the way you worded this sentence there. Okay, well, if there's no other questions, looking around for a nod.
Yep, good.
We have a second first reading of bills, policy 7260, student activity fund.
And this one, Chair Lewis and the board, is really to add this portion about, so it's not just by check, that it can be include a district credit or debit card was really the intent of the change on this one.
And as it was described, it's from the bill that passed. Are there any questions on this one? It's pretty easy. Okay, then with that, we will move on to our consent agenda, and I'll hear a motion for
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I second that.
It's moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. And we're moving right on. We have a lot of these board action items, and we'll just go right through them. The first one is the architectural services approval, and we have our CFO, Brian Wallace, can address this. Thank you for coming back.
Thank you. So, in your packet was just sort of a executive summary of the process we went through the past month or so with the committee and the interviews with the architects. We were
That's great that there were
yeah,
six.
we were at a good place. I was glad to see that six qualified firms expressed interest. We interviewed the top three. As we did the final rating, LTA Architects, who we worked with in the past with the district. The district's also worked with ALSC and Architects West. There's history with all three firms are solid, but for these particular projects, we thought LTA was the most qualified and the best fit. That firm had done a project at Lakes Middle School in Coeur d'Alene, which is a very similar age of building, and several years ago, but still it was clear that that firm had some really good ideas on how to move forward with that building and similar type of work. So they also had done K-Tech, the technical building down in Coogee County. So our CT building, the direct experience there. So we just felt that was the best fit for all, and so that's our recommendation to move forward. The costs are estimates, of course. It's based on the hard construction costs. What their fees are, it's not just architect fees, engineering fees for the civil engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, all those that flow through the architect. So that percentage is covering all that. The architect sort of hires the team. They were actually part of the interview too, the subs. So that's our recommendation, and any questions or discussion here?
So Are there questions, or there's another opportunity to have questions after we make a motion, but proposed motion is right here. If you guys are
I make a motion.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the architectural services contract with LTA Architects for the Sandpoint Middle School and CTE facility capital projects.
I second.
It's moved and seconded. Are there any other discussion, any other questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye, that motion passes. Thank you so much. And the second is our transportation program. We have James Kaler here. Hello.
Hello.
Our transportation director. Thank you for this overview of the program.
Thank you. Good evening, Board, Dr. Meyer. So each year the school board is asked to review and approve the transportation program. The program has not changed much since last year, so I don't feel the need to go into 2 hours of detail about it, but
thank you.
I'll second that.
So there really was not a lot of big new stuff to show you, but I did want to include the Bus Right Parent app, which we did a soft launch last year. You know, we transitioned our GPS program and our routing program to Bus Right, and it comes with a parent app on their phone that they can track the bus and see where the kid's at, estimated time of arrival, and so forth, and where's it at. We did kind of a soft launch last year. We did one big announcement, and then we launched everybody in, and it went pretty smooth. But we were really focused more on getting all the buses routed correctly and getting all that stuff worked out. So this year we're really focusing on the parent app, working with our communications liaison, Darren, and he's going to push out a lot of information for the parents to get on board. We got about 300 parents last year, and we're hoping for 600 to 900 parents this year. It'd be nice. So I just wanted to touch on that. You should see that coming soon.
Great.
The transportation program, so I'll just go over the different categories here. So as far as school bus turnarounds go, we did not add any school bus turnarounds. So everything from last year is exactly the same as this year, so I don't have any changes to report for that. The bus route summary, we still have 35 routes, and they are fully staffed, thankfully. So that's good, and we do have some trainees. So although our sub pool is 0, which has put me in a bus this year, we still have trainees, and we'll have those fully licensed hopefully soon. The inside your packet, there's a kind of a detailed list of all of the routes and where they go. We made a couple minor changes that were just more efficiency related, but nothing drastic has changed on those. All those routes remain the same. Safety busing areas, we review those every 3 years, and these are, we service elementary students that are in areas that they're within the 1.5 mile zone, so they wouldn't normally be eligible as a rider, but they do face, there's some hazardous conditions, a dangerous road to cross, or whatever it might be, and so we evaluate those every 3 years, and we have those safety busing zones, and so those, we make those eligible riders. The state allows us to make those eligible riders, so we evaluate those. We'll do that again next year. So we haven't evaluated those this year. We're going to continue with those same assessments that we did.
Yep.
And then finally, the daycare facilities. We added 3 this year. Two happen to be out in Sagal. There's the new Storybook. It's that really beautiful facility out there, that new one. So Sagal, the Storybook Sagal on Ivy Drive, Precious Giggles out on Sagal Road, and then in town, Connexu Health Daycare. We're servicing that daycare as well. So that's on your list of approved daycares that we service. So that's where our program lands for this year.
Great. So we do approve this program every year. Are there any questions before we hear the motion? So I would...
I make a motion to adopt the 2024-25 transportation program.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
Thanks.
Good to see that in front of us every year. So we do have the alternate authorization for teacher for Stephanie, and I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name. It's for Sagal. How is it pronounced? Weens.
Yes.
So,
And Principal Davis is here if you have any questions. She can come up.
do you?
I'm happy to contribute.
If there's no questions, you can just stay there. You've had a chance to look at it, and I will have your motion.
I make a motion to approve the alternate authorization teacher for Stephanie Weens. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
I thought I heard that.
I second that.
It's moved and seconded. Is there any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. Thank you so much, and thank you for coming in case we did have questions. So now, Dr. Casey McLaughlin is reporting.
Casey.
Got ahead of myself.
Yeah, I wish. That's like a year in advance.
We can just say that.
Mr. Casey
If you
McLaughlin.
guys have that authority, I would
Do it.
appreciate this guy. It'd be great. It'd save me a lot more work.
No, we're excited to hear about your doctoral program, so thank you.
Yeah, I am just actually asking for approval to do my doctoral program here in the district. And so my doctoral program I've been working on for the last over 2 years now, and I estimate around a year left, and I will be utilizing, asking some participants from Sandpoint High School if they would be willing to do this with me. And so really what it's about, just to give you a quick little snapshot, and there's a lot more to it than this, but just to give you a quick little idea, it would be that it is utilizing a teaching framework to see if we can increase some just teaching strategies and teacher effectiveness in the classroom. And trying, really what I could always call is trying to bake it in the cake so it doesn't feel like it's something new or different or anything else, and trying to see if that can be utilized to increase teachers' effectiveness in the classroom. So there's a whole rubric that teachers will go through if they are willing to do this. So, and then, I can hopefully get this done within the next year. Shooting for September of next year.
So is this going to be in the actual classroom at LPO?
Not an LPO. I'm shooting for. No, sorry, LPO is just Lake Ponderay. Just not LPO.
Oh,
It's Lake Ponderay District, yeah.
I'll be asking some teachers at Sandpoint High School.
And specifically in the mathematics department. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
It looks like something that we can benefit from your program, your doctoral studies.
Yeah, I hope
Thank
so.
you.
20 years ago, and I could really benefit.
Yeah. He's still struggling with his math. I will hear a motion to approve the project.
I make a motion to approve the Director of Secondary Education, Casey McLaughlin, to conduct his doctoral research project at Sandpoint High School.
I second that.
It's moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Appreciate
That
it.
motion passes.
I will
And-
give out a shout out. It took me 6 years to finish my doctorate.
To
and
get
he's
called
gonna-
Dr. Becky Meyer.
For him to.
I'm just
finish-
throwing it out there. I'm calling him Dr. McLaughlin.
Doctor, yeah.
I'm just on it now.
For 3 years, I'm like, he's ahead of the game, so
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not sure.
Definitely.
Less hair equals.
Hey, it's more aerodynamic. It's way
There you
faster
go.
that way.
So, yes, he has been working his hiney off, so there we go.
So we have the second reading of 2 policies, and the first is 3500 student health and physical screenings. This is the new one we saw at our last meeting. Are there any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I did have a question. I don't know if I asked this question last time. Number 2 on that list
Yeah.
of 5 things at the beginning there. Did I ask what that could mean, or did I just think I asked that? Because I had it in my notes, and I don't remember ever getting an answer. Or maybe I did.
I don't remember you asking anything about it.
I guess was asking for clarification on what that could be. Yeah.
It felt like we talked about this. So these are the 2 situations that could occur. So it's saying the district won't furnish healthcare services unless, in the case of a medical emergency, unless it's necessary, 1, to prevent blah, 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 and 2, they can't get a hold of the parent despite trying. So it's saying
Okay.
one of these, so we did have a conversation about it, and I can't recall
Well,
you
we
asking
did,
for
but
any
like-
change to be
Nurse
made.
Christina gave examples of that.
Yeah.
Right, that's for
Yeah.
like
Right.
imminent danger, like health.
Exactly.
Yes.
But like
Imminent
number
danger.
5 is not a life and death situation.
You're talking
Head
about
light
life-
screening.
Yeah.
But so that's my question is those don't seem like the life and death situation list.
So, and that's not necessarily, this isn't necessarily the life and death list, this is the services that may be included.
The life and death is the next one.
Exactly, and that's why I'm asking what could number 2 be? It just seems very big and ominous as far as like any qualified specialist.
Yeah, and you certainly could take
I'm
out number 2.
Sorry.
That's what that's where I'm going
I'm sorry,
with this.
I
is that-
totally thought you meant 2 on the next one
No,
down.
yeah,
No.
I was
Yeah.
reading the.
She gave
the
some
next list.
examples, but to your point, trustee, you could certainly take out that one, and it would still meet the letter of the law and what our district is doing.
Because I mean, the other ones seem more
Yeah.
like
Specific.
pretty specific of what kind of happens all the time, possibly. You know, like. But number 2 is just kind of vague, and I didn't know if that was perfectly.
I can't remember. I'm sorry, I totally was reading the wrong thing.
Yeah,
I
this
think
is just saying that this one, the reason this isn't, parents or guardians shall be notified of any new health services that become available after the annual notice is sent. These
Right.
services that we may add in case there's a new firm in town or some new specialist in town, we would send that out. This is just saying that these are some services that we may inform parents about
after the fact.
after the fact, but it's just that we're informing them.
Right, not after any services have been provided
No.
to students. It's telling parents, these are services available in your area.
Right.
It's not saying, we're,
Okay.
Where you-
we're,
just say we're gonna do
we
this.
are administering this to
Okay.
your
Yeah.
student. It's saying, so that example she just gave,
Yeah.
a new specialist has moved into your community
It's just
and
saying that
they
we would
do blah, blah, blah.
notify them of that once something new became available.
To offer services on school property or as part of a school program. So, does that mean we're just telling them about their business opportunity or telling them about it possibly being on our campus?
No, not on our campus, just telling them that this is a service that may be available now.
In the community.
In the community.
Yeah, so,
Okay, because it said organizations, third line, organizations partnering with the district that offer services on school property. Or as
part of the school program. So, for instance, we have a Smiles program that is reached out to Dr. Jansen about offering some oral care. She would be telling, if we didn't put that in the annual notice to parents, like this is stuff that you could have available on campus if you want, every single thing has to be approved by the parent ahead of time. Then if that didn't come till after the annual notice, it's just saying these are things that we may tell the parents that there's new services added.
So if you took out number 2, it wouldn't really matter because such services may include but are not limited to.
Right.
So even if we took it out, it could still be one of the
Still be
services
included
that's
in
not
there.
listed there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I that's my one thing that I said last time.
Yeah.
Parental rights and involvement. Like,
Right.
I guess I'm just trying to think from their perspective. If I'm a parent and I got the, beginning of year notice of what it is, and I signed off on that, and then 5 months later, something is saying we're going to actually have this new company be doing a workshop in our school.
But remember this sentence, the district will not furnish healthcare services or solicit to furnish with the student without parent guardian consent to do so or by court order unless a medical emergency exists. So this caveat right here is super important.
It's still protecting the parents' rights. And
just
most of those
accidentally.
things we talked about are not the life and death scenarios.
Right.
Like the Smiles program.
So you're
the
saying
headlights.
that line trumps all the other stuff in a way.
Well,
So I'm just
the
gonna leave it.
others are just information sharing to the parent. This is actually saying the district's not going to do any of these things with students unless the parents agree. So it's 2 different conversations. The first part saying, hey, here's what is our responsibility to tell parents, information sharing. And the second part's talking about when we furnish health services. So those are 2 different things. The first is
And those things that we convey could be on school property.
we
That's
would,
what that says, right?
they could be part of what's on school
Could
property.
be, but they still have to send out a notice to the parents.
Yeah.
We still can't do anything without the parents, unless the parents sign the approval in the ahead of time,
Yeah.
which some parents will. Do anything you want, this is my approval. Some parents will say, don't do anything until you have my approval for every single thing. And the parents have to opt in on one of those choices,
Yeah.
Okay.
according to law.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's probably
That's
fine,
different.
and I might just be
So right, you're looking at
super
it through a
anal
lens.
about it, but I'm feeling like there's loopholes in there for potential something, and I guess I just don't love it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It
And I don't know
certainly
if there's
isn't
a
going
wording
to
change.
affect it if you want to take it out. If the board wants to take it out, it certainly will not affect it.
It doesn't, I think it's just identifying one of the possible areas. Which, I don't know, we don't gain anything by taking it out except
No.
pushing us out of another month, which I'm not sure matters either. In the scheme of, this policy is in place until we,
Yeah. It's
you know,
okay.
adjust it.
Probably
So-
okay.
Okay, looking at your nod, I will entertain a motion to approve 3,500.
I make a motion to adopt new policy 3500, student health, physical screenings.
One second.
It's moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 That motion passes. And we have a second reading of policy 3540, emergency treatment. There's revisions here, as we saw. Are there any other questions on this one?
At the very bottom, I guess it would be bottom of page 1, number 2. Inform the parent / guardian as soon as possible about the illness and request they, and then it slashes out
they
him
to
or
pick up.
to pick up. I think the 2 should be /2.
They
The 2 should
pick
be
up the
slashed
child.
also.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah,
Good eye.
that's,
Waiting.
nailed it.
Did you call Pearly?
Waiting.
No, I did not.
Early.
That was hidden in the weeds.
Very nice.
Yeah, thank you. I'm done.
Are there any other questions?
My word.
Earned your pay for the day.
Yeah.
Are there any other comments? So we can move ahead to approve this policy as amended.
Happen.
The striking of 2.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
We make a motion?
yes.
I make a motion to adopt revisions to policy 3540, emergency treatment as amended.
Yep.
I second.
Thank you. That's moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. And we're moving on to administrative announcements.
That was fast.
Well,
Thank you.
it is. Efficient work. And any announcements from our principals,
I'll talk.
administrators? Just for fun.
So we just finished 2 days of professional development, which
Yeah.
is a lot. I mean, a lot.
Intensive.
But the overall feedback from staff is so meaningful. The time was well spent. We learned a lot from the trainer, and I thought we knew a lot. We learned even more. So very good takeaway, and worth every bit of our time. It's hard not to have kids in the building, so it was great.
Great. Anything else? Sure.
I just want to say thank you again for the opportunity for our students to present to you.
Yeah.
I think it is, we're so far away from town that I think sometimes our kiddos don't get those types of things. So thank you so much for making that part of the culture.
Yeah. They're great.
Yeah.
They're great.
Anything? Say.
Golf's going to state.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes,
Boys
right.
and girls? We have, boys and girls, and I think we have another kid down from another school. It's in Burley.
Anything else?
Burley.
Nope, just we had a
Amber?
great PD.
Yeah, I just wanted to ditto and echo while the slides showed, some of the whole group, it also showed building-based follow-up, and I think that coming together was the
small piece, and it is a ton of work on our principals and our leaders and their teacher leadership teams to plan meaningful afternoon and next day follow-up. So kudos, honestly, to all of our principals and their learning teams that help shape that. So thank you all so much, and thanks for the opportunity. And we'll be taking feedback across the administrative team about placement of either 2 in October or 1 fall, 1 spring. Our calendar has varied over the last few years, so we'll definitely loop back to see the thoughts of staff and leadership. So thank you again.
Great. I have one.
To you all.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you to all of you, staff, that you guys put in a lot of work. Yeah. Very dedicated, and you do a great job.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Second that.
Here,
Definitely.
Anything? Anything else?
I thought that was it.
Okay. Anything from Dr. Marks?
Anything from this? There at the end, you nailed it.
I gave him lots of opportunity. Just waiting for him. So, that's right. Then I will hear a motion to move into executive session.
Okay. I make a motion to move into executive session as provided for in Idaho Code Title 74, Section 206, subsection 1B, to consider the evaluation, dismissal, or disciplining of, or to hear complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual agent or public school student.
I second.
Luke seconded. Roll call vote.
Sorry, I'm trying to save this as fast as I can. Roll call vote, Trustee Wood?
Present. Here.
Yeah.
Aye.
No, aye. This is a yes.
One of them, I just
This is a yes, no.
Trustee Peters?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
I don't know what
it's so tricky every time.
Sure. How about that one?
Thank you.
Sure is not as definitive.
Yes.
Sure.